Hello and welcome again to Steve's Longshave Workshop, where I start to come to my loop top for various reasons. Bad repairs, difficult repairs, but this is from Moonage Daydream. He's somebody on this site, and he said he wanted me to look at the Bosch, I think it's TP50 tape recorder. Now Bosch as a manufacturer weren't known for tape recorders, but they did go for them in one way, and this is the way in question. So let's have a look. Take the lid off if I can. There we go. Yes, a bit mucky, but don't worry about that, because you know muck actually is quite good because it cleans, because it preserves what's underneath. This one, the knobs on the front, by the way, are the same ones used on the back of the early sets at the time, like the TV125 and such. Difference is that these are white with gold rather than all black. They're different, but the deck is the same as many others at that time. It's the BSR TD2 deck. Yeah, we've got various bits of wire here, which I will look at and find out what's what and what's not. There we go. So that'll come off, but I keep that because people are seem to pay large money for those. I don't know why. There's a 1970s Norman microphone here. I used to have one myself actually. So yeah, there's another thing here as well, which it looks like it's the original Bosch microphone. See, it's got Bosch written on it, and it's so we'll check both of those. But first of all, like I said, I know what we shouldn't do it, but I can't resist. I always have a look and plug it in because, well, life's too short, you know. Sometimes it really is. So we'll find a screwdriver that will take this off, and then we'll put it on the safe block and see what happens, if anything. It's interesting one, this, but you know, they are, so they are, you know. This particular plug actually is the same as the one used on things like the DAC 90As, so that certain others, so they're actually quite valuable. But one thing with the DAC 90s and DAC 90As is that I don't know whether this is one with the various things, whether as a transformer. Most tape recorders do. Let's look at this actually. Look as though this one did, but this was put on, so it's got to come off by itself, obviously. The tape recorder, by the way, these the standard tape recorder of this type. This here really, very much but these do seem to be collectible. So, like I said, let's have a look and find out. So I'll strip this and we'll plug it in and we'll see what happens. Right, it's on the top block, and before we hit the button and watch it explode, volume control on off bass on this, I set in the middle there, treble control and radio, because there's a radio section on these as well. Tell me, when you were kids, how many of you put the mic into a radio and sang along with the music? I know I did. Yeah, I was a kid. This machine is a 4-track, and that's these buttons here, and this is the same switch that was used on things on things like the Bosch TV105. Anyway, tape on, tape straight, power, and we'll just see if anything starts to smoke when it warms up. I'm hoping. By the way, many people think smoking is a bad thing. On people, yes it is, but on radios, tape recorders, it can lead to great trouble. Yeah, let's go for a case on there. Let's see what happens if I do that. Oh. That's quite a good start, that, isn't it? But let's see if the radio function works on this, because if we can, then we can check these two microphones and find out whether they will or they won't, which is something which we do need to know. There's no plug on the normal microphone here, so obviously that one, as it stands, won't. So we'll put that one out of the way. Here's the bush one, very similar to the one given to the tape recorders with the deck, similar to this. So that goes into there like that. There you go, full. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4. Nothing there, okay. Let's see what there is with it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's either microphone or something inside the unit. I'll get my own microphone, I'll check that, but that microphone, I'll do my best to try and fix that, because they're quite rare, and it is nice, isn't it? So yeah. So anyway, we've got a tape recorder that sounds as though it needs to be serviced, which it will do after all this time. I'll probably have one too. That might be the tape, it might be the something in the unit, we don't know. Because of these days, some people weren't actually all that good at setting levels, so they don't recommend use a tape made by a customer as a check, because some people don't. That, by the way, on shop floor, that tells us that the deck only needs to clean. That's all it needs to clean. That's rather poor, that. Anyway, so I'll get this tape off here and we'll start to see about taking it apart, because I think this one is going to be something which is going to need to be looked at in quite a few ways. So off here, these come off the same way as the ones do on ordinary decks. They just come off like that. Come on, there you go, right. Don't they come off? If this comes off, I will use that as well, but I don't think it does on this. So that's something. These come off, and the screws on the top should come off. So that's the next thing to do. Well, it's partly open. This appears to be stuck on. I'm still trying to work that out. But it came out of this case quite simply. The case is here, and it needs a clean, but that's okay. It's bigger than the case, by the way. And like many tape recorders, this one actually now to come to mind. This actually has speaker connections that come off, so you know, spare connectors, which is better than the usual, shall we say. Now, every engineer I've come across, and I mean every engineer, has a little black museum of things that come to tape recorders, and this one is no exception. That's what's inside it. A good old 13 amp plug, which, well, I don't think I'll use it again, but there you are. And what the hell this was doing, holding password together, I don't know. It's a two-ended pencil, green end, and I think it's a red end. So if anyone wants a two-ended pencil, there's one here. So I'll put those out of the way, and then we'll have a look at finding out what we have to do inside it, as well as the deck. I can't do that until this comes off, and this is still absolutely solid, and as of yet I cannot see why. The two screws there only to top it, but the top, in many tape recorders this comes off before anything else does, but on this one so far it doesn't do. It might be these two knobs here, I don't know, but underneath there's these two screws here which are hidden underneath here, and so I will look at that next. Looking underneath it, by the way, just for the sake of interest, there you go. Then, probably okay, that isn't, that isn't, that isn't. So there's 3 caps to change, then we'll try it. As far as the microphone audio is concerned, again, it might be the microphone, it might not be, I don't know, that's neither here nor there at the moment. But this machine has an ECL86 which is there, yeah, output stage, and I think judging by that there, oscillator as well, which appears to have been tweaked, oh dear, and of course 2 pentodes, EF86 pentodes, which are common tape recorders, and of course an M84 which is on the top. So I think first of all we need to look at these capacitors and get them out of circuit straight away. 100 capacitors, more in some areas is something a little ruder. But first of all, I think I might just have another look and find out why it's not letting the top come off, because it should do. It should do, and it's got to do, because I want to get in and clean it. So that top is coming off whether it likes it or not, and it probably won't, but it's coming off anyway. But without a manual, I found it. Around 2 of the knobs on this one, the volume and the radio knob here, there's these extra little plastic things which go over and screw on actually as well. If you've not got the right tool, get a pair of pliers and they will come free. Put that out of the way. Hey, the top comes off as well. I'll put that also down there with the other mucky bits to be looked at later on. And now on the bench we have a naked tape recorder. Ooh, misses. So what we got here? Well, we've got a tape recorder that obviously needs to be cleaned and oiled. That's fair enough. That's okay. That's okay. But basically, heads cleaned. All these got oiled. This is the predecessor, the TD2, the TD20, by the way. So this is the version that, you know, is common. So these have to come off and be cleaned as well. And underneath, like I said, there's a few capacitors. So let's get going with it, shall we? And we'll start. Oh yeah, with these decks, something else. There's a spring here, which does tend to go missing. Do not, under any circumstances, lose that spring. Don't, because if you do, you got to hunt around for a new one, and it's not really that. They're not that easy to find actually. So you know, out it comes slowly, and it goes back in slowly. And don't lose it, whatever you do. I can't say that enough. Don't lose that spring, whatever you do. Okay? It's also using some record decks, by the way, so there are a few tin records out without these because we're using a record deck, but that spring is vital, and I don't think we make them now. So that spring is, shall we say, an unreplaceable part. So whatever you do, don't knacker it, don't lose it, don't break it. That screw, it's very important. When it does, here you see, play or record depending on here, pass forward and pass rewind, you see. And without it, those positions are not defined. So it's very important that you do that. Also, of course, here, that needs cleaning, that certainly needs cleaning. Basically, it's a matter of oil and patience at this point. Basically, everything needs to be cleaned. With things like this, cleanliness is next to godliness. If you're a Christian, I'm not. But like I said, cleanliness is next to godliness with these, so be careful of that. So what I'll do here, I think we'll do the tape deck first, and then after that I'll take out and change all the Hunt's capacitors or something else if you've got the same sort of method I have, and we'll try it. This might be quite simple, quick repair, who knows. Also with these, by the way, most of it is used on both play and record, so play but not record faults are down to either buttons, sockets, things like that, one or two components at the beginning there, or the microphones themselves. So we'll cruise that, we'll come to it. These days play is more important than record, but I like to have them recording as well. But without a manual, I found it. Around two of the knobs on this one, the volume and the radio knob here, there's these extra little plastic things which go over and screw on actually as well. If you've not got the right tool, get a pair of pliers and they will come free. Put that out of the way. Hey, the top comes off as well. I'll put that also down there with the other mucky bits to be looked at later on. And now on the bench we have a naked tape recorder. Ooh, misses. So what we got here? Well, we've got a tape recorder that obviously needs to be cleaned and oiled. That's fair enough. That's okay. That's okay. But basically, heads cleaned. All these got oiled. This is the predecessor, the TD2, the TD20, by the way. So this is the version that is common. So these have to come off and be cleaned as well. And underneath, like I said, there's a few capacitors. So let's get going with it, shall we? And we'll start. Oh yeah, with these decks, something else. There's a spring here, which does tend to go missing. Do not, under any circumstances, lose that spring. Don't, because if you do, you got to hunt around for a new one, and it's not really that. They're not that easy to find actually. So out it comes slowly, and it goes back in slowly. And don't lose it, whatever you do. I can't say that enough. Don't lose that spring, whatever you do. Okay? It's also using some record decks, by the way, so there are a few tin records out without these because we're using a record deck, but that spring is vital, and I don't think we make them now. So that spring is, shall we say, an unreplaceable part. So whatever you do, don't knacker it. Don't lose it, don't break it. That screw, it's very important. When it does, here you see, play or record depending on here, pass forward and pass rewind, you see. And without it, those positions are not defined. So it's very important that you do that. Also, of course, here, that needs cleaning, that certainly needs cleaning. Basically it's a matter of oil and patience at this point. Basically everything needs to be cleaned. With things like this, cleanliness is next to godliness. If you're a Christian, I'm not. But like I said, cleanliness is next to godliness with these, so be careful of that. So what I'll do here, I think we'll do the record, we'll do the tape deck first, and then after that I'll take out and change all the Hunt's capacitors, or something else if you've got the same sort of method I have, and we'll try it. This might be quite simple, quick repair, who knows. Also with these, by the way, most of it is used on both play and record, so play but not record faults are down to either buttons, sockets, things like that, one or two components at the beginning there, or the microphones themselves. So we'll cruise that, we'll come to it. These days play is more important than record, but I like to have them recording as well. Now when you're doing one of these decks, it helps to do it in stages, okay? Helps to do it in stages. First of all, here, the screw here, which pulls that out of the way, like that, and this, which is a part which is common to this machine only, comes off. That needs a clean, doesn't it? Look at that. Okay. That and that have come off. The spring clips, which are here. They go there and there. Yeah. When it goes off, by the way, if you got the right tool, get a screwdriver and bring it out very, very carefully. Do it carefully, because otherwise they'll fly off and not be seen again. It happens. I know it happens. It's happened to me, and it's not something which I particularly want to happen to you as well, because you know it's easy to get, but again, you know, it's not exactly what you'd call mint in that way, you know. So now that goes like that. That can't come off either. So therefore now we take this bit off here. On the screwdriver with the right side to do it with my left hand, which is not very easy, but we'll manage. And I'll take this out of the way, and this will come off and you can clean underneath it. That's how it works. So this here, two screws, which aren't that keen to come off, I must say, but come off they will. What you do, a little bit of magic spray, like that. Does have usage in your workshop. I'll leave that just to sink in. Now, also with any tape recorder, anything like this, yeah, cleaning it up is one thing. You must clean it, but do not put grease or oil where grease or oil should not go. It's just, you do not, okay? This, for example, it's dirty, but it's not greasy or oil there. I can feel it in my hands, so this one's cleaning, okay? This comes out, and underneath there, again, this one's greasing or oiling underneath, maybe. Here, yes it does. You can see that because it's been there before. But under here, it doesn't. So it comes off, and only put grease and oil where grease and oil should go, and only after cleaning. Very important. Only do it after cleaning. Okay? And again, excuse me, don't lose that coil whatever you do. If you do, then you've got to search for one, and they're not easy to find. So now this should come off. If it doesn't, then back down here again to take this off, and again underneath it, clean it, and only put grease and oil where grease and oil should go. That is, I can't stress that enough. with this control back together again at the front here, it goes back and forth like that, as you can see there. Like the thorn deck, this also moves these spools around to select rewinds in the same sort of way. And they're having, although later in the day, a similar problem. I'll show you actually. Go to play. There you are, no problem. That belt's okay. So, okay. Go to fast forward. And that's okay. Go to rewind, however. That's okay now. But see, if you look, it takes a second to go into place. You see? So now, what we're doing with these now is we actually put the take these two spools off and thoroughly clean underneath, as well as the spools themselves. Again, very important. These tables, very important. Right, with the tape recorder faced other way round on the bench here, like so, I've taken one of the tables off, and what was underneath as well, which is this one here. This is the take-up spool here, which is again wanting a clean, to say the least. And also the thing underneath here carries a drive belt, which comes from under the deck in the front. The belt is okay, which is a good job, because they are horrible one to change. They really are. But here we are. And also, don't forget, by the way, with these, there will be under here, if you can see that, there are some washers. You see? You see? Don't lose those, because they control spool height, and without them in place, it will work okay with the covers off. But put the covers on, and the spool and the reels here will of course scrape on the deck. So very important. So that's one of them. The other ones here, which I'm going to take off. But before we do that, let's see what capacitors we need for this one. There's a 340 volt 8 microfarad there. That's I've got 10 for that, I think. 0.02 there. I don't know what that one is. 0.02 there. Try that one. What's that one? 0.05. That 0.47 goes there. That's not a problem. I don't know what that is actually. It's done in such ways to make it very difficult to get at that one. 0.1. That's okay. We got those. This one here, like I said, is a 0.47. That's okay. Now, going on the other side of the panel, there's one here, two here actually. That one is 400 volts, 0.05. Again, no problem with that one. These, just change them on spec. Don't muck about. Just swap them, because if they're faulty, it might damage other parts of the unit. And if they're not faulty, well, they will be. So you know, at some point. So this will change them while you're in here. That one again is I don't know. I don't know with that one actually. These here actually are 0.047, but 750 volts working. So I'll put 1000 in there. We had it 0.2. Again, I wonder what voltage this is. 400 volt. Okay, we can do that. That's a 0.1. That's okay. And so all the hunt capacitors, you don't muck about. You just swap them. Okay. If anything with humps on it, or TCC in this level, you change. The smoothing caps, that's a plastic, they're plastic. They might be okay, they might not be, I don't know. Also I noticed this has got an E36 on the 8-foot stage. Now they're a valve with some interesting habits, so always make sure that everything is okay around those, as I said recently in another video. So now let's have a look at this other lead here, which is held on its end by something different. Yeah. So that comes out as well, and these two will have to be cleaned. And underneath also, if I just bring the unit up to have a look, there we are. Can you see that? Yeah. Like the Fergusons, there's pot metal there as well, which is the cause of the problem. There's two of those like that, you see. So all this needs to be taken out and cleaned as well. 60 years, don't forget, 60 years. By the way, I also noticed that that's another spring washer's come out, so we'll put that with the rest and see. I think I know where it's come from actually. So on we go with the idea of cleaning this thing up properly to make it again like it was new. And as I said before, don't put oil or grease. Well, oil and grease do not go. Right, well, first of all, the take-up spool had been cleaned and put back. There's no problem there at all, but the one that caused the problem was the supply spool here, which I think it's a supply spool. First of all, it has one of these on top which connects it to the counter. So these are put together. That goes on the unit like that, you see, and that goes on like that, hold in place. You see, it's quite it's something which they do have. So take it off gradually, okay. But button switch between WD-40, a little touch down the hole, and bring it off in stages, okay. And then from there, we take off the main one, which is this one here. Again, slowly catch your monkey. Very important. There we go. That goes into there. And now we'll turn the unit over again, like that, and that comes off. You see, like that. And that's the other spool, you see, which, as you can see, also needs a clean, especially on the edge here. You see where the brakes are. Okay. It's also got that, which goes like that, and it goes to here. Now, the problem, as you can see here, hang on, I'll move the camera in so you can see. Hang on. This is the same as on the FTD4 decks. So this comes off, and if you look, you see, it's slowly moving back in place. Can you see that? It's slowly moving back into place. So here is the problem. So this has to come off as well, which is this here. Again, slowly catch your monkey. You know, slow and steady wins the race. There we are, and that's gone somewhere over here. I'll get that in a minute. And that now comes off like that. And look, and how stiff that is to bring off, you see. So that is the problem. So that will need to be cleaned and that's connector is okay, and the spring that flew off it's gone down here somewhere, so I'll find it or leave it, because if you leave something like this, you don't find it. But if you there it is, and there it goes. Okay, so that goes back into there, and these in here need to be cleaned and put back, and of course also this lot needs to be cleaned as well. Yeah, that's okay. But if you look, there's no oil or grease under it at all, so don't put any there. Okay, do not put oil and grease where oil and grease should not go. Now with the supply and take cut spools back in place like so, if you go underneath, first of all, you notice that everything is in place, but I've not put the take clip in place to hold this one back in place yet. By the way, these two spools, these two tables, are not interchangeable. If you look, that one is thinner than that one. That's because of the drive belt here. But now, if you look, you see, that's fast forward, and that's rewind it. And that goes straight there now rather than just drifting. So that is now more or less right. So now what we're doing now is I'll put the back underneath and try drive belt as well, because that has snapped, and the deck at that point will be done. At which point we've tried to make sure that I haven't missed anything, which is possible. It's possible. This is the tape recorder supply spool taken from underneath. It's here, if you can see it on the screen. Yeah. Now this one has two dents in it underneath. One is for the clip, the circuit that holds this in place, which is in place, and the other two are for this. It goes on the top like that. This one is important because what this one does is it provides belt space for the belt which drives the counter. You see, there's another one over here for the counter, and so with them in place, we then have to find a belt and link the two together, and then the counter should work. That's it. Deck all put back together again underneath, even the drive belt for the counter here. So now if we switch on like that, all the valves, by the way, are out apart from the EM84 here. I think it's an 84. That's just, if anything goes wrong with the motor or something, that will tell me that it's still active, and also tells me that the HT is okay. So the many other things you can tell other than recording level from one of those valves, so it's worth leaving it into place. Anyway, fast forward, rewind, and at the most that's the counter, and of course play. You won't hear anything, of course, because I've got the valves out. But now, of course, the acid test here, believe me, the test will be acid, is whether this machine can actually do the same with the tape, because it's got to put the tape on and it's got to move it forward and back and play respectively. So this is the test, as it were. So now we put that onto here like that. We put that like that, and there we go, and make sure that doesn't go underneath there, because it's very easy to do that with a machine apart. So now plays okay, but the others tend to be a bit iffy at this point for some reason, which have to look into again. The other thing you can do very quickly here in this situation is take that out of there and run it without going past the heads and unwind. This will tell you if it's simply a case of tension. There you are. So therefore the problem is tension going through here. Now with these tape recorders, again, another thing that happens quite often with these is that the tape path gets out of alignment, and when it does, these sort of things do happen. So now, with a little bit of help behind it, it will start to play. Go the other way. The same applies. It sort of stops and starts a bit, so obviously something is not 100% right, although it does seem to play okay. So I'll just wind the tape off, and while it's doing that, it's working now actually. I'll have to find out why it's doing what it's doing and not doing what it's not doing. Yeah, that. I mean, some decks are slow on unwind, including these, but not quite this slow. This is slow. The phrase they use sometimes is deck slow, but that is a deck that's like this, the way the deck is designed. I did this on TRP1 was a code over with the studio deck, and that actually didn't have any speed regulation at all, and it did in fact break the sound barrier. I kid you not. How many victories that one would have had. But also you need to get also, by the way, that you've got to realise that yeah. Nothing you can try. Just checking out the guide and seeing which one is likely to be causing the problem. Usually what on the outer ones. Okay. Well, I think we'll look at the tape pattern also. I mean, that's all right. That. So if with tape path alignments, and possibly also could be the motor, unlikely, but it could be the motor, or it could be this here, this wheel here underneath, which I'll point out to you in a moment. Come on, faster, faster. It could be tape itself, you know. It's been known. Some tapes have a problem called sticky shed syndrome, and that is usually caused by. I'm not pulling that, is it? Nor is that. Look at that one, that side. That's all. Also, I noticed that chances are there could be some washers missing from this as well. So what I'll do, I'll get the manual for this deck out, which I haven't needed up to now, and we'll see if there are any washers missing from this deck, and if there is, put them back in. This is a shaded pull motor, 4 screws and out it came, with a bit of jiggling and a couple of wires got cut to take most of the way, you know, and here it is. Now, these things, they don't often go wrong, well, they very rarely go wrong, but when they do, there's always certain things that happen with them. First of all, this here is the bit that turns. Okay, this is the bit that turns and makes it turn basically. The coils here generate AC coil, and of course this turns around as a result. It's quite a simple yet quite magnanimous arrangement, shall we say. So what we do, this I've given it clean to here, this here, and also we're going to put a little bit of oil in here and in here, and then put it back together again. When it does, it should go a bit faster, and that should be the problem. If not, I've got other of these motors, so it's not that much of a problem. But a shaded pull motor like this, there's not a lot to go wrong to go wrong, except the cause and cell. If the cause and cells go up in circuit, then there's nothing you can do. It's simple as that. But here with this, there's things that go wrong, but only with this bit here. So this bit is okay. But again, cleanliness is next to godliness. So you know, give it a clean under here. Give it a wash through it like that. Clean out all the muck from inside here. 60 years of muck at least, by the way, in this. You know, some survive better than others. This tape recorder has obviously done a lot of work in its time. You know, it's 6 years or so after that fidelity, which is still sat over there looking somewhat sorry for itself, but what do you expect? So also this now goes into here like that after we've put oil in it. So I got some oil in it, and now I'll show you putting it together. So wonder where my oil is. Hang on a minute. Mostly cleaned and more or less back together. Why don't you check it anyway? It works quite well now actually. If I was to plug this in there like that, it does. As you can see, it goes around fairly well. Well, that seems to be easier to hold than that though. So something here as well. But the motor is now back in action apart from that. By the way, this stuff has come on the market. I'll just show you. This is 3-in-1 oil, but normally it comes in a can like that. That stuff, yeah. But also this is sprayable oil, which is great because you can spray it inside and it'll get everywhere. So well worth putting in your collection of oils and things for doing tape recorders with. There you are. So now I'm going to get that top off and find out why that is actually seems to be easier to stop than that, because the lot should be linked together. There don't seem to be any screws on it anywhere. But there's a spring here, so it might be with this spring here. So I'll try and make it so that that doesn't actually stop when pressure is applied to it. That might be the problem actually. Now with the motor back in the unit, the thing on the top here, I can actually get the rate from the top if need be, so I'll leave that for now. It is better than it was, and hopefully that will do. I don't want to get it off unless I really have to, because getting it on could be even more of a problem. But that's play. Yeah. Play, by the way, it runs off this belt here to take up spool. Okay. That's fast forward. It pulls, and that's fast rewind, which pulls. So now let's get a tape and let's go back and forth and see what happens. So I'll go with the bath tape here, I think, because well, it's one that came with the unit, so you know it's probably better of the two I've got here. You know, I've got more than two. I've got a load, but I've got two to hand, so that's what I mean by that. So now, there's this playing away. Let's fast forward, and there's rewind. So obviously it's working better than it was, as you can see there. It's also a lot quieter in here, by the way, because I gave the motor a good clean and oil, of course, with the oil I showed you earlier. So at this point now, let's take that off. I've got that habit, by the way, of doing that, so don't get anything into that. And Tape's got a habit of doing that on the decks, whether they're parts as well, by the way. Do you have that problem as well, or is that just me? So now, with the deck more or less working, as far as I can tell, we now have to go and make up the electronics and of course capacitor changing, because there's a rather lot of hunt capacitors in this. I know some people call them something a bit ruder, but they are called hunt capacitors, and they weren't that good back in the day, so now God knows, you know. The valves are right, by the way, so I'm not running anything I shouldn't, apart from that valve. That's on to show that the thing is actually powered and working, because the motor is so quiet. That is a warning to me that the thing is on. Stop me getting belted, as it were. Which I might well do, you know, but well, it's part of the game, isn't it? So now, turn this thing over like that. Now, as far as capacitor changing is concerned, with sets like this, units like this, anything hunts on it, like that one, like that one, like that one, anything hunts on it, replaced on site. Very important, replace them on site, because they will be crap. Yeah. Also notice there's a plessy on here as well, which I think might well need to be replaced as well. Other things that, other compressors like that, I don't know, but certainly these black things have to be placed on site. So now, getting on with that, starting down here, and the capacitors, getting the replacements in, and each time what I do is I make sure that it doesn't blow up before I put the next one on, because you know, also with these, one at a time, and check carefully that the old capacitor and the new one go to the same terminals, because that can actually force you around the block a few times into a wild blue funk. So be ready for that. I know, because I've done it as well. Right, now at this stage I've actually changed all the caps on this. They're here, the bench in front of me. Horrible things, they really are. So they can go in there behind me on the floor, or in the bin. Apart from this one is partly broken apart, and you can see what's inside them. They have paper caps underneath there, so obviously, you know, out they come and in the bin they go. So yeah. Anyway, the leak, they go forward. Mainly the leak, and when they leak, they cause other problems. Now in this case, that's the power supply circuit here, yeah. That's the ECL86 there, that's the EM84. And although I've changed them all, the ones we changed, that one there, also there's possibly that one there, looked at. Also there's that one there, the green cap there. And if we look on the other half of the circuit, there we are, the other circuit again. There's that one and there's that one. But why change them all? I'm going to also very quickly change C8, which is the C2, which is 8 makes this one here. I've got a 10. That'll do for that. So that is a TCC cap, and it's It's just down here. Hang on. It's this green thing here, green electrolytic, so that will go as well. And then of course I can power it and see what voltages are on the pins, and I'll do that before the valves go in, just to be on the safe side. So I'll change that one and come back to you again. With all the capacitors changed and the deck sorted out, we're now onto the electronics. So let's get on with it. First of all, ECL86, AF86, EF86. Okay, they're okay. Now, we know that the 80 is okay because the EM84 lights up. So therefore, we now go and plug the main unit in very carefully. There we go. And start thinking about looking around this valve here. Now, right, so let's have a look and see if we can find anything anywhere around here. Which we don't seem to, do we? Okay, well, first of all, the input transformer is where it goes, so I think we start here, start there. 350 volts, okay. And also it should be 350 volts on another pin as well. There we are. So from there, therefore, it should go by switch 2W. This is in playback, by the way, I hope. To the ECL86. So the ECL86 is on the circuit here, and looking at pin 6. So pin 6, I think, is one of these here. And by the way, you do from the gap with the valve facing you, go around from the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So therefore, there should be something on pin number 9, pin number 6, and I think it's pin number 3. I'm not 100% sure about that one. Yeah, we are. Yeah. So 6, 9, and 3 should have something on them. So let's have a look and try and find out which pins they are. Well, they have indeed got anything on them. Which it don't appear to. Okay, well, in that case, power off, and maybe just get that motor in the meantime because it's making a bit of a racket there, and go and see. With all the capacitors changed and the deck sorted out, we're now onto the electronics. So let's get on with it. First of all, ECL86, AF86, EF86. Okay, they're okay. Now, we know that the 80 is okay because the EM84 lights up. So therefore, we now go and plug the main unit in very carefully. There we go. And start thinking about looking around this valve here. Now, right, so let's have a look and see if we can find anything anywhere around here. which we don't seem to, do we? Okay, well, first of all, the 8-foot transformer is where it goes, so I think we start here, start there. 350 volts, okay. And also it should be 350 volts on another pin as well, there we are. So from there, therefore, it should go by switch to W. This is in playback, by the way, I hope. To the ECL86. So, the ECL86 is on the circuit here, and looking at pin 6. So, pin 6 I think is one of these here. And by the way you do from the gap with the valve facing you, go around to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So, therefore, there should be something on pin number 9, pin number 6, and I think it's pin number 3. I'm not 100% sure about that one. Yeah, we are. Yeah. So 6, 9 and 3 should have something on them. So let's have a look and try and find out which pins they are. Well, they have indeed got anything on them. Which it don't appear to. Okay, well, in that case, power off, and maybe just get that motor in the meantime because it's making a bit of a racket there, and go and see what the problem is here. Yeah, so what we do therefore in that situation, we know that it's okay. The magic eye, therefore it should be on R43 here on the circuit, and therefore from there that's what goes around here as well. So so I'll find somewhere to pin on with this, and we'll check round by hand and see using the ohmmeter where the fault should be. So R43, it's probably on the board here actually. What is that? 820 megs. Okay, so it's 820 megs. What I think is probably going to be 820, are you sure about that? Hang on. Sometimes you need to check it. There's nothing wrong with checking 820 ohms, that is. So, don't know which one that is yet. Hang on. Better still, let's go to the mains transformer because that is where they come from. So, off the mains transformer, therefore, it goes to the rectifiers, which here, that's okay. And one end of them goes to deck, which it does, we can see that from here. And the other end goes on the other side of the board, and T333 and 332, and so therefore that goes to deck, that goes to deck, and so therefore that one therefore is the one which goes to the rest of the unit. So from there and we don't do this with the ohm meter, on 2K we should get something over here. $820 there. Okay, so that's $820 there. Okay, is that, so that goes to there. Okay, so and there, therefore from there we shall get to 1.19K. That's the other end of the main the 8-point transformer. So that's 1.17, 1170 ohms or thereabouts there, because the primary of the 8-point transformer. So from there it goes to pin 6. Okay, so from there it goes to I don't know, is it here? It goes there to there. Okay, fine. Where's that going? Where's that going? It's merry little way to blue. Blue is going down here to here. Okay. So it's going down here. Okay, fine. And then from there it's going to there. Is that contact working okay? Yes, it is. And that goes down here. And that should then go basically to a pin under here. So we'll go through again and make sure. A tip, by the way, with these, sometimes it's a bit that they are for you to get at. When that happens, what you do, get a bit of wire and make a meter into a small probe, and use that small probe to. That's there. Okay, so that's there. So that's there. Okay, fine. So therefore, if we power it now, we should have voltage there. Okay. Now also with the pen sword, there is a voltage elsewhere, because, and that goes to let's have a look. On the other side of the board. Yeah. Goes to there. So from there, therefore, it goes through a 22K as well, according to this. That's quite a lot, that. So let's see if we get anything at all on pin number 3 here, which is either that one, yeah, that one. Okay, so that's going a bit, that, isn't it? That's not doing what it should, is it? Right, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's that one. Okay, so 3 is that one there. Okay, so from there now we should get something. We do, but it's dropping, but it is there. So it's capacitor charging up, so that should come to rest about 33 megs or thereabouts, given other things at the circuit as well. So that's there. Okay, right, okay. So therefore now we know that's okay, and so the other place we need to look, pin number 9. Now pin number 9 has an awful lot between, so so now from there to there it should be. Okay, right, now this meter has 2 megs and it looks like it's going to be about 800 ohms, which is, of course, is fair enough given the circuit. So I think we'll hang on a minute, phone. I think that's okay. Phone call finished. It was Katie from Ohio. So thank you for the phone call, Katie. I'll call you back later on. But before I go in for the garage, which I've been told to do by law, let's just see what happens. Well, I've done. I put the ECL86 back in. Now, there's no volume control on this at all. So I've also wired the speaker in as well. So if I now do that, like that, something like that, when that warms up, there's something of a crackle then. So these should get warm, by the way. That one should, this will get quite close to warm though, so let's see if it does. It should go toasty one, as you see over here, toasty one. What I'll do, by the way, is I'll let it onto there, let it onto there, and we'll see what happens now if I go with something like there. Not a lot. And on the other side, 35 volts, 35 1, 30k, on this side. Notes. Going on to GC like that. That's going note. That's going note. That's going even less. That's okay. That's okay. That is still not as warm as it should be. So something inherently wrong here, I think. So off we go again, like that. And we'll go and we'll have a look at this circuit here and find out what's going on. Obviously something, because they should get very warm under normal use, and that one isn't. So obviously something somewhere is not doing what it should be doing. So yeah, so I'll pull that one out again like that. It's bigger. Please can see where it is for now. And that goes in again, and we'll see what happens down here. That says no. That says no. That says no. Oh. Well, it's there, but it isn't apparently here. Oh, there, 250 volts. That's okay there. Okay, that one says no. So that one says no. And that one 252 volts. Okay, well, there's something there here, because you know that's That's okay, but the rest of it isn't. So I'll have to chase the power supply through. Remember, power supply, audio, you know, system for radio, it's quite the same for tape recorders. Obviously there's no IF, so follow it through as always. Well, the first thing to note is that I've actually managed to find out where the 500 volts on the 500 ohms on the power supply line came from. There's a switch on the record deck down here, and when it's not playing, this goes across the line there, and what it does is it shorts everything. Well, not completely, but it fends off the deck to make it go soft, stroke nothing. So that's what it is. It wasn't actually fault as such, but it can easily be treated as one. I've left it off for now, and I've put a new capacitor on here as well. And at this stage now, I could plug it in, but I looked at these resistors here on the circuit. That's the rectifier there. And the resistors, these aren't too bad, these resistors here, but that is down quite a bit. So obviously the rectifier circuit on this is not delivering the current it should, which is these here, which it just come out of circuit. Now the two ways of dealing with this, one is to buy a big diode online and put it straight in, often something like CPC or something like that. Or you can get four of these diodes. These are something like 1 in 5, 4 or 4 or 4, 6 or something like that, which will carry the current very well and build up a bridge rectifier out of them. Yeah, bridge rectifier basically what it does. That on its own, one diode, that's halfway rectification. Basically the other half just vanishes, yeah. But the bridge with all four of them, like you see there, if I look, that takes the other bit and puts it the right way around. So from energy point of view, that's a lot more efficient, and of course often they're used with transformer led circuits, which transformers generally are, and of course which tape recorders generally are. There are some that aren't, but this one is not with them because of that. So now I'm going to build a bridge rectifier out of these 4 diodes here, and then we can try it again and see what voltage comes off it, and if it's too much I'll put a resistor in. Now what I've done here is I've made a bridge rectifier up, not terribly well, but most is for testing here, and I put a resistor in circuit as well, possibly a bit big this actually, at 3.9k, to drop it, because those resistors pass through more current than the old type do. So the old type are not really working properly now, but them more so. So they're at circuit and that's coming. I still find a problem with the audio, and anyone who's worked on these valves, the E36s, that's these little beauties, will tell you that they're very prone to problems with capacitor on the grids, which that has had. So yeah, so I'll put another one in now, and if I was to plug it in like so, yeah, speakers connected like that, and so now if we go down here, like that, just go there, and then there, like that. It's getting through okay. That's from the record play switch, which of course is linked to the head. So this point then, what I'll do is I'll turn the machine over very, very carefully, I hasten to add here, and see if it plays the tape now. It should do. It should do. It's not right by any stretch, but you know, we are at least getting there now. So yeah. If it does, then it's a tied up operation here and here. As I said, all the hose caps have been changed. They're all in the bin behind me, and so that name should give us a working machine. So it comes over like this. Like that, you see, like that. And we'll put a tape in and see what it does and doesn't do now. It should play. It should play. Note, should. So let's see if it does. The audio's there, okay. You can't hear it on audio, but there is audio there. So I put a speaker on, a tape on now, and we'll see what it sounds like. Always the acid test, isn't it? So we'll put a tape on and see what happens. If it's okay, which I think it probably will be now, then it's simply a matter of putting the thing together again and seeing what it does and doesn't do. This is the tape that was with it, which I'm not 100% sure about, but I don't want to put anything on this machine that might make this might damage. So you know, it's having what it's having basically. It's having what it's having, whether it likes it or not, because it's not in charge of the situation. I am. You're always one in charge with anything like this. That goes without saying. So that goes like that, and that comes out from there. Thank you very much. This always happens with these, by the way, because the hang on, back in a sec. I hate doing that job on camera. Right, here we go. A little bit low on volume, I would say, but seems okay there. So I'll take this tape off, and we'll try it with the one that I used recently on other machine, the one with the music, with the all-star music on. That is a good tape. So I'll put that one on and try it with that one. So let's try again. Much the same. Once again, the finger on the back of the head makes it more usable. That's okay. It's the same on both checks, by the way. So yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, seeing as it seems to be okay there on the head, but not here, I wonder if this head is past its best. Well, I'll give it a good thorough clean. I gave it a clean before, but not enough, obviously. So I'll give this head a good thorough clean, and we'll try it again. Without the tape now, it doesn't really matter, because we know that that tape's alright, because that one was okay on that last machine I played it on. But this head does look to be rather past its best. So I cleaned his head thoroughly, very thoroughly, several times, and we'll try again. Right, well, I've managed to bring the head up a bit, but not a lot. But then again, on the thing on the back of the head, with it on full volume, it's not very loud, so there's something else up with this, obviously. While I'm here, by the way, I've also put the scope plug on the eraser, and the bias is there, so that's one thing which we don't have to worry about. They're about 70, 50 megs on 50 kilohertz on these. You can pick it up actually on a long wave radio. So we'll very quickly, I'll try that and see if it'll do it.
Ugliest road in Europe.
Yeah.
Nottingham, please.
Probably the other up here. Oh well, never mind. It's an idea, but I know it works because, of course, it takes on the scope, so the eraser section is alright as well. So there's obviously something else wrong with this as well. I don't know what at this stage, but that is at full volume, and really that should be a lot louder than that. So I'll get me screwdriver. And again, that is not anywhere near as good as it should be by any stretch. So onto the breech, dear friends, once more onto the breech. This is proving to be a bit of a sod, like the Fidelity, only worse. I did play it, by the way, with the tape, but on the tape was Long Head Lewis from Liverpool. Now, obviously, I can't technically play that on YouTube, but anybody who objects to that, well, they need serious lessons in music culture, don't they? When I worked in the BBC, I was told that there are 3 ways to deal with the fault. One is to tolerate it, one is to fix it, and one is to modify the unit. Now on this one, the power supply arrangements are interesting. So what I've done is I've modified them. Yeah. So the ECL86 I think is okay. It sounds okay. The voltages on the EF86s have gone up in value now because, of course, I've modified the power supply there as well. So it's giving us voltages that are not exactly what it should be, but in the area. Okay. So now it sounds like this. Next thing we'll look at is the pressure pad. The difference. So I'm going to need something to go and replace that pad with, yeah. And also underneath here, I'm going to tidy a whole lot up, a hell of a lot, because it is a mess under there now. Those sort of messes, you don't actually need to do anything with them, but it's a good idea to. Why did the power supply take it down so much? Well, with the pen sword arrangements, the voltages are on 2 grids, the anode and second grid. Yeah. Now the second grid voltage on this comes from the supply. That was also drives the 2 EF860, which are also pentos, by the way, and that voltage was low. And when that voltage is low, there will be a low voltage, virtually nothing actually, on the control grid here. If you look at that, you see, yeah. So you've got second grid there, which should be it's now up at where it should be at almost mains potential. It's done more like a radio, but it does work. Okay. So now I will sort out this head here, this pad here, and I will also tidy up underneath, and then I will think about take the tape path, and that would be it, I hope. Can never say that for sure, but this one has been through the mill, and like I said, I don't know quite why it's dropping voltages the way it is, or was. All the caps have been changed on the power supply side of it, they're okay. The bridge rectifier has been changed. I've got some of the small ones that put in place of those 4 diodes, and basically make it look a lot tidier. So those things are the next thing to do on this unit. So I will go and look for me my roll of tape and try and make a pressure pad here. That's the next thing we have to do. When I worked in the BBC, I was told that there are 3 ways to deal with the fault. One is to tolerate it, one is to fix it, and one is to modify the unit. Now on this one, the power supply arrangements are interesting. So what I've done is I've modified them. Yeah. So the ECL86 I think is okay. It sounds okay. The voltages on the EF86s have gone up in value now because, of course, I've modified the power supply there as well. So it's giving us voltages that are not exactly where it should be, but in the area. Okay. So now it sounds like this. Next thing we'll look at is the pressure pad. The difference. So I'm going to need something to go and replace that pad with, yeah. And also underneath here, I'm going to tidy a whole lot up, a hell of a lot, because it is a mess under there now. Those sort of messes, you don't actually need to do anything with them, but it's a good idea to. Why did the power supply take it down so much? Well, with the pen sword arrangements, the voltages are on 2 grids, the anode and second grid. Yeah. Now the second grid voltage on this comes from the supply. That was also drive the 2 EF860, which are also pentos, by the way, and that voltage was low. And when that voltage is low, there will be a low voltage, virtually nothing actually, on the control grid here. If you look at that, you see, yeah. So you've got second grid there, which should be is now up at where it should be at almost mains potential. It's done more like a radio, but it does work. Okay. So now I will sort out this head here, this pad here, and I will also tidy up underneath, and then I will think about sorting out the tape path, and that would be it, I hope. Can never say that for sure, but this one has been through the mill, and like I said, I don't know quite why it's dropping voltages the way it is, or was. All the caps have been changed on the power supply side of it, they're okay. The bridge rectifier has been changed. I've got some of the small ones that put in place of those 4 diodes, and basically make it look a lot tidier. So those things are the next thing to do on this unit. So I will go and look for me my roll of tape and try and make a pressure pad here. That's the next thing we have to do. And this is the Bush TP50 put back together again here, and as you can see, when I turn it up, the noise from the cell phone is deafening. But if I just knock that off, listen to that. Yeah. That's a good tip, by the way, and that's as loud as it goes. That's an extension speaker. The one inside is quite as still, so I think want a speaker as well for this. But the problem is the heads. So we want relapping, but head like this is not worth doing. So what I'm doing, I'm putting fuse out for another tape transport heads for these decks, and when it comes I will back to this, put it in and finish the job off and turn it into a working machine again. So it's not finished, but it's as far as it will go for now, and they're good machines actually. I mean, sugar loads than that, but there you go. So I'll be coming back to this one, I promise. Okay, so this is part 1. Part 2 will come in the future of the Bosch TP50. So until then, goodbye, and see you soon here at Steve's Vintage Radio Long Stay Workshop with the set, with a tape recorder that is going to be a long stayer, because I don't know how long it'll take me to find some head to this, but find them I will, and then I will sort it out. Okay, so until next time, take care. There I am, you see, and whoever it is that you worship may be with you. Bye bye and take care.